Okay, so this is when normally I would do an analysis of what's happening here, and there's not much to analyze in this kind of a cue. If we had to analyze it, what we would probably do, if we needed to like come up with like a lead sheet for this where we were like writing out the chord progression, the best way to write the name of the chords that we're hearing in this would be with NC, the letters N and then C, and it stands for no chord. Meaning, technically, yes, we're hearing some chords because there are multiple notes happening at the same time, but nowhere in that do we have an identifiable root of the chord. Do we have a pitch center? There's nothing, you wouldn't listen to this and say, oh, everything's built around C major. No, it's not. It doesn't matter. What we do have, however, is a couple pitch relationships. Let's hear it again and see if we can find any particular pitch relationships. Oops. Okay, right there, we could say, well, what is that pitch? Let's look and see if I paid attention to what that pitch actually is. I didn't transpose it. Well, let's figure it out. Okay, it's a G. So that pitch is a G. This bass note is a G. So maybe we're kind of centered around G. So we're hearing a lot of G here. Now we're hearing noise. It'd be hard to put our finger on what those are. This hit here, largely percussion. Let's just hear one of those. There's a little bit of pitch in there, but I don't really care what it is. I don't think you're hearing that. And I think this one is the same sample. Yeah, I just doubled it up to make it loud. More noise, glissandi. Noise. I mean, these glissando, I wouldn't call any kind of pitch. So I think you get the point. We're not really focusing on any particular kind of pitch center, even though you could, I guess, say this is built around G because we have this repeating note and it is a G. But for purposes of analysis, I wouldn't call this in G. I would call this dissonant. I would call it non-harmonic. I would call it no chord. I would call it any number of things that basically means there is no chord progression or harmonic center to this, right? So don't bother analyzing these kinds of things. More useful in this case would be analyzing the kinds of sounds we're using, and looking for ponticello, tremolo, gliss, those kinds of sounds and seeing how they're layered. That would be more productive in this case than figuring out what the chord progression is, because there really isn't one.